Hello fellow survivors, and welcome to another Campfire Chat with me, Zach, here to give you the latest updates on the Long Dark news. And this one is going to be just a shorter video about the upcoming DLC and some additional news and teasers that have been released since the previous video that I made. If you're watching this video and you're thinking, wait, there's a DLC coming, what's going on? Then I recommend that you instead watch the previous video I made that outlines the entirety of the upcoming expansion of the Long Dark, which talks more about what exactly it is and how it works. In this video, I'm going to talk a bit more about the additional things that have been released since that video. Hintland does a pretty good job of teasing new content all the time, sometimes a little sentence here or a new screenshot there. So there's a lot of little things that has happened since the last video, and I'm going to go through them now. First off, of course, there has not been any updates on when it's coming out, except that it will be this year, and they have said it's very soon, whatever that means. Hopefully it will be early December rather than late, because it's a bit easier to play during the early parts of the Christmas holiday rather than later, but that's just me. In any case, let's go through the different things that have been announced since last time. First off, we have the Burdock plant. Now, the Burdock plant was announced in the past as well, but what's new about it is that we now have the artwork for it, which looks like this. So on the right here, we have the root of the plant and then the actual plant itself in the middle. And on the left here is presumably what it looks like after you have prepared the plant and cut it up for use in cooking in some way or another. We don't know exactly what it will be for, but it will be probably used to treat some different things. But we do know one thing, because when Hintland released this image, they also added a description to it. And in that description, they said, Burdock is a hardy winter root featuring unique medicinal benefits. Dig it up and use it in soup or tea. Ooh, soup, eh? So that means we are getting soup in the game. They did mention that they are changing some of the cooking systems and adding complex recipes, so that would make sense. So yeah, that does mean we are getting soup in the game. And one last thing about the Burdock plant, they have specified that you do need a tool to dig this plant out, not a shovel, but some sort of tool, and they'll say more about that later. Next up, we have oaks. There is a new tree coming in the far range, which is the oak tree. And here is a picture of what that would look like. We don't know exactly what the oak is for. Presumably it will give us wood we can use for crafting, or it's just some long burning firewood. We don't really know. There is, however, one thing connected to oaks, which is most likely acorns, because we are also getting acorns in the game. This was actually announced in the previous announcement, but I missed it in the previous video because acorns was mentioned on the Steam DLC page only, and that's it. So that's probably going to be used in cooking or maybe even some sort of coffee or something like that. We don't really know, but most likely I'm guessing you'll find acorns around oak trees, and you use it for some sort of crafting thing. Now, another thing about oak trees is that it implies that we're getting new animals in the game. Why? Because in the description of the oak tree, when they posted it, it says, featuring its own flora and fauna, the far territory reaches along the long spine of Great Bear Island. Oak trees are coming to the Long Dark. So the fact that it says its own flora and fauna would suggest that the far territory has some plants and animals that are only found in that area, suggesting that they are adding a new animal to the game. There has been some speculations about what this might be. In the past, I have suggested that they should add a cougar to the game, which would be interesting to see. Some others have said it's a boar. Or maybe squirrels, we don't really know. But it does seem like they are adding an animal to the game. At least that's the implication. Which animal though? We don't really know, so we have to see. But it's coming. Then there is a screenshot of a rifle that was posted on the Steam DLC page, which is labeled as Vaughn's rifle. And this looks pretty much just like the regular rifle, but with slightly different design. It's reminiscent to a variant, just like in story mode, you have a kind of like Jeremiah's rifle, and then you have the hunting rifle, and they're kind of the same rifles, just in different designs. We don't really know what the Vaughn rifle is, but it probably falls under what they call weapon variants. So maybe it's just that you can find different skins for the weapons, or the slightly different versions of the same rifle that do roughly the same. Maybe there's some minor differences between them or something like that. I don't think it necessarily is a game changer. It's just a different type of weapon or something like that. But we have to see. Then we have the Electrostatic Fog. This was also mentioned in the Steam DLC page. I just didn't see it last time. This is presumably what we kind of catch a glimpse on in the teaser for the DLC, where the snow is sparking with electricity, and then the radio lights up. Presumably it's some sort of weather effect that either is going to kill you, wouldn't be too surprising, or it's something that activates electronics when it's around. We don't really know exactly what it is, but it sounds like something bad. Yeah. Then we have the loot system. So in the last video, I also mentioned that the loot system will change. They're refreshing all of the loot tables. They're changing where items spawn. So we kind of have to re-explore the world, and it will feel very fresh and new, which is great. However, Rafe, in a post on Twitter, did point out that they are not changing it completely necessarily. He said in a bracket, he said, if you're an interloper player, don't worry too much. Yes, we refreshed a bunch of stuff, but we've kept this experience mode in mind as well. So it's a bit ambiguous what this means, but my interpretation of this is basically what he's saying is that they haven't changed everything. Keep in mind that the refresh of the loot is something that will happen irrespective of the territory. So if you don't buy it, this is still going to happen. And it's presumably one of the reasons why the game's saves also become obsolete. But what's important here is that they don't say that they change all the loot, they are refreshing it. So that means that not necessarily everything is changed. I recently released a video showing all the different match spawns, so all the places you can find guaranteed matches in the world across all difficulties. And I released this now before the DLC because it's likely to change, but based on this tweet, I would assume that probably some of these will still be valid, but some will also change. Interloper specifically is unique since Interloper follows loot tables, where loot is very predictable and there's certain things found certain places. For example, stims are always found the same places, and then some tools are found in certain locations, and this is not quite the same on lower difficulties. And then what Rafe is saying here implies to me that this is going to be changed, but not completely changed. So probably there'll be some loot found in familiar places, but some stuff will also be new. So it won't be a complete 100% revamp, which would be good. It would be good if it's a mix of some things are still there, some things have been changed. That's my interpretation of this, at least. Also mentioned is that they are changing the fire starting and fishing system. We don't know anything more about this. They mentioned this briefly in the developer diary as well, although here it's in the Steam page is more explicitly stated that fire starting and fishing is being changed, but we don't know any more about it than that. And then finally, there's been some more screenshots released. Most of them I have shown already, such as the burdock plant and the oak tree. They also released an image of the airfield, the Forsaken airfield. And this shows what is presumably the tower in the airfield looking out at snow and wolves. And people have speculated a little bit about this image because there's a few things to be found, like there's beef jerky and there's chocolate, shells, and then some drawings. And some people thought that this was a drawing of a boar. To me, it looks like just a wolf, but that's up to everyone to decide. And some people thought that the fact that there were wolves out there suggests it's timber wolves, that the new area will have timber wolves. Could be, but to me they looked like just regular wolves. I mean, regular wolves also can come in groups of up to 5 wolves. So it could be either. It makes no difference. It is what it is at the end of the day. But this is what the new area, the airfield itself, will look like, which does seem to be officially called Forsaken Airfield now. And that's it. So these are all minor updates. So we don't know any more about when it's coming out. But there's probably going to be more updates as well, because Hinton is sporadically releasing little tidbits here and there, little things, a new image, a new piece of information. And of course, some of this is speculative, like we just know that it's coming, but we don't know exactly what it is or how it works. So I've tried to speculate as little as possible, but sometimes it's hard. We're just going by 1 or 2 words and we don't really know exactly what to use that for. But in any case, this is the latest update. This is everything that has happened so far as I am aware at least. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the far range, survivors. Bye bye.